never seen somebody with as good of a dashboard that they built themselves for all of their data, but it still was missing a couple pieces that wasn't letting him really see the full story. And so he's like, I don't know what's going on. The numbers aren't where they need to be. I'm spending too much on ads and I'm not getting what I think I need to. And so what I said is, all right, give me this data. Back in my corporate America days, and nerded out in Microsoft Excel. That was my jam, is like, let me do data analysis. And so what I did is I ended up pulling a lot of his existing data that he had, looking at it a little bit different way. And we started looking through, all right, let's, if you don't know your sales performance by team person and by city, and you can't say, hey, how does this guy do in this city? And who's my best person in this city? Well, if one guy is batting 1 out of 50 and the other two are batting like 4 out of 10, we shouldn't send any appointments to Mr. 1 out of 50. And this was kind of a part of a bigger problem where we realized a lot of these issues aren't an operations issue. It's at the front of the line. It's like, let's look at that script that you're answering team, whether it's your answering service, your virtual assistant, your inside person. What's that script look like? And it's like, oh gosh, I can see why we're having these problems is because we're not qualifying people correctly. We're not doing these things correctly, which is leading to issues that pop up later down the line, whether that's sending the wrong people to the wrong appointment or going to appointments that we should never have gone to. It's like, why do you send your sales guy 45 minutes west when he lives 30 minutes east on a Friday at 3 o'clock for a $500 fascia trim repair? It's like, no wonder you can't keep people. And I'm not speaking to that account because he's awesome with his team. But like, owners that aren't considering those things, it's like, why am I getting turnover? Why are people leaving? It's like, because you don't have a good process to think about the jobs you're asking your people to do. And it's like, if we have sales guys that can crush it and sell 5-figure, $60,000 siding jobs, it's like, he should never go look at a job less than $20,000. Like, don't put it on his plate. And so what we ended up doing was creating kind of his sales territory map where we built strategy for him and his business that works for the capabilities of his team and the guys on his team. And now we set it up so he's got one guy that's just the repair small projects and specific zip codes. And then the A and B plus player, they are all the big projects, none of the little projects. And then the additional layer that we're adding and working on implementing right now is, how do we say the stuff that we should say no to that's kind of out of our territory? Can we say yes to that if we've shown them some numbers ahead of time and save us some of that legwork of these site visits? And so we're now working on building if you're outside of this of our core area, we'll still say yes, but you need to send us pictures. We're going to give you an estimate ahead of time and get this so that if I do come out for a site visit, we know what we're getting into and we have a rough cost, and I'm not sending my best guy to a $2,500 siding repair project.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. You gotta have that data though to make that decision.
Yeah, so but a lot of times people have the data and you don't need all of the data and like all the specifics and financials and stuff, but there's a lot of things like throw the darts on the map, throw your wins, throw your bids, like let's draw that radius. And like I've shown some people that it's like your guys have probably collectively wasted 400, 500 hours driving to these jobs on these outside rings. And you think through like, who's my ideal customer? Well, who's the people that has other neighbors? Like Brad Akers talks about like his neighborhood referral strategy. It's like, yes, go after stuff like this where you're going to get a neighborhood that's got more people that live in it. Don't send that guy for this job that's 45 minutes west that nobody else lives near him. Like maybe you do get it, but he also could have just saved 2 hours of his day and gone and talked to some neighbors while he's in the neighborhood, or dropped by a real estate office in that area, or whatever it might be. And so those are the things where it's like the owner, and it's tough as the owner, as the sales guy, because it's like the same thing. You start as the guy, you're like, I got to make the sale, I got to keep the crews busy, and I got to sell everything we can when we're slow. We'll bid yes to everything, but you forget how much time you lose not tending to your ideal customers by paying attention to those non-ideal customers.
Yep.
Could not agree more. Shout out to Brad Akers. We're going through his training right now. Very excited about that. And I've always been a proponent of efficiency and not wasting time. People just do not realize how much time it takes to go do one inspection if you're just driving to everything. They don't realize how much,
Dude, I was
whether
laughing.
you have 2 appointments a day and be wasting 6 hours that day that you could be doing other things that were helpful. And I'm really excited for going through Brad's program to help train our entire team. Clay is our new guy in Savannah, and Cameron as well is going to be learning this program. So we're going to be just more efficient. On the flip side, as we've been recording, I've been dealing with the other side, the other issue, which is, okay, let's say that this person is not an ideal customer. Well, we still need to give our best effort for that person. So here's a good example. They use Roof Quote Pro. Shout out to Roof Quote Pro. It's a great tool. Any of the tools are great. The measurements were off. Shocker. I know everybody says everybody's measurements are off. Well, it's very clear. And so the customer got an incorrect quote. So we're proactive showing, hey, it just looks like the measurements are off. Kathleen's doing this right now. And we're resending a new proposal from Proline with accurate numbers, good, better, best, exactly the sales sheet that you just showed on the video. And shocker, he's ready to move forward because we're giving an accurate quote. Like, so we're not wasting 2 hours of our day, but we're going to sell this job because we're kind of covering our bases on both ends. We're being efficient. We're not going to waste our time with this person driving for 2 hours, but we are also going to give our best effort, use the technology that we have with both Roof Quote Pro, having a good website, all the things that we do already, then using Proline's proposal that gives an accurate depiction of who we are and what to expect and why we're different. And it's very clear. I mean, like, he's getting other quotes. I'm looking at the feed right now. He's going to choose us because he's already gotten these other quotes, and we're very profitable. It's a 40% profit job. And he's going to choose us because of this, of the value that we're bringing with these sell sheets. Like, it is very clear. We never ask for like competitors' estimates, but it is very funny whenever the customer gives us their quotes. It's just hilarious. It's just like, you're not even trying, guys. You're not even trying at all. And so that's another thing about identifying what can make you different from the sales perspective, and then actually implementing it in your proposal as we're doing it right this minute.
Well, I mean, that is a perfect example of how starting, and honestly, John, I'll never forget. This is what made me pick up the phone one day and call you a few years back. There's an episode where you talked about like your job where Shake Tear Off reigned or whatever, got the whole, like, you just screwed up somebody's house, and it's like you just said, "Don't worry, like, I am going to take care of this," and it's like no matter what happens, if anything happens and goes wrong, we're going to fix it. And it's like knowing that that was the approach, and like, hey, if something goes wrong, I'll make sure we make it right. Having that, it's kind of built into the DNA of your business to some degree, but you can take those instances with a better looking sell sheet like this, where it's like, hey, I'm being proactive because, oops, we saw a mistake. You're right. Thanks for helping us catch this. It's a new technology. Let me send you this. And his first impression of like, idiots, is now boom, sell sheet. And he's like, he just gave you a second chance because now he sees these people. He's like, he can connect with the humans on the other end, versus if you had just did the instant roof quote, sent him a text-based quote and you didn't follow up or no re-engagement there. He's like, yeah, you're just like all the other idiots in the industry, essentially. And so it's not just one of those things, like the virtual assistant with Kathleen, like we've got them in our business. That's a huge component for people to feel that like, hey, I can talk to somebody, I've got somebody that's responsive. And those things like that, where it's like, just go call that person right back. They're already on top of it. I don't have to instruct them to do those things, to be proactive in helping us, make that customer flip back into a positive.
Yep. So 8:35 this morning, he uses Roof Quote Pro. He gets an automated Proline email, automated Proline text. It has a YouTube, hey, here's your short 30-second video. It's just like our YouTube thing that we embed in Proline's text and email. He views it. Kathleen calls. Let's see, what time did she call? She called a few minutes later. And 36-second call. Notes say he's not interested in doing an inspection. I'm like, what's going on there? He has an interest. Why is he not in? Something's happening. So then I create this 12-minute video, Loom video, to train Kathleen to say, hey, in this case, if they're not interested after you use our ballpark estimate, our Roof Quote Pro tool, you need to just say, hey, let me correct it. So we had to correct it on Roof Quote Pro, update lead. Anyway, long story short, creating that process so that you're being efficient without having to drive somewhere to talk to somebody face to face. This is less than 2 hours ago as we're recording this. And he's already went from no way, I don't even want you to come to my house to now, oh, you're probably going to do my roof.